Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
We're going to start some lessons here this weekend for you on Money Mentors. I know, whether it's the perhaps start of a new year or flipping the calendar, another change in your life, people typically have a timeline in mind for their retirement. So today here, Gary and Gerald, I thought we'd spend some time going over the steps that perhaps we need to consider if we're thinking about retiring in, say, the next year or so. If we know it's within 12 to 18 months, this is kind of crunch time for folks, isn't it, to get serious?
Yeah, absolutely. You're in that retirement red zone, as we like to say it.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Caution, caution, caution.
Lights and buzzers and flashes. Yeah, I mean, having this goal so close to what you've been working for your entire life, now you get to enjoy that, enjoy what you've always worked for. That plan that you've had to climb the mountain, save money, raise a family, buy a house, whatever that's looked like for you. Now you get to see the fruits of that labor.
Yeah, it's not a goal line that you're crossing. It's a new lifestyle.
It's a life event, yeah.
And so those are things that you really need to have properly planned on. And one of the things that we look at, it's so huge, is that what you don't want to have is the market conditions dictate of when you can go. Mm-hmm. And so many times we say this on the radio and in our TV program is that we want you to start right now putting cash in a position that you're getting some money on it, but you're starting with your next 18 months of income in a bucket so that if you want to leave and the market goes down 20%, that's okay. You can leave. You're going to have your income set up. The market's not going to take that away, and then gives us the opportunity to rebalance that portfolio and take advantage of what the markets do. And there's other things you should really look at, in a step-by-step plan, if you would, to know if you're ready and able to do that. One, of course, is you want to review your retirement financial plan. This is so huge. Now, that plan should include all kinds of things.
Absolutely. You have to look at taxes. You have to look at health care. You're looking at what is my Social Security going to pay me? All of these things that really speak to your income, not only today, but, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. We can't just say, well, I only need $2,000 a month right now because guess what? Inflation is a thing again. And that's also one of the big things you need to review is if you're planning on taking out $2,000 a month, to say that when you first retire, what does that $2,000 equate to with inflation factored in 5 years from now? Yeah. It's not going to spend the same. You have to make sure that income you're planning that you need right now, you still have that same purchasing power in 5 years.
And here's the one that's kind of tough for some people is that getting emotionally prepared that instead of savings, we're now going to be taking, or distributions, as we call it, money out of your retirement accounts for income flow. And we like to say this a lot on the show is that retirement is not about how much money you have accumulated up. Mm-hmm. Retirement's really about how much income flow you have and what sources that come from and how dependable are those sources in the future. So we have something called a milestone map. What that is things you should do at certain ages. We know at 73, going way out to Z, 73, possibly 75, you have required minimum distributions. But what should you do if you're 50 or 59 and a half? There's things that you should be looking at and preparing for retirement. There are opportunities that you should be readjusting and looking at. And there's other ones along the way between 50 and, of course, required minimum distributions. So if you'd like a copy of that milestone map, call us at 800-536-8907. Again, that's our office number. Somebody live will be there from our staff answering the phone, 800-536-8907. Tell them you'd like a copy of the milestone map. We'll email that to you so you can have it right away and look and see where you're at, maybe things you want to look at and adjust. And this is all about being prepared for when you're in that retirement zone, what we call the stress-free retirement. When you're in that zone, you're able to do things of your dreams, your goals, and your desires.
I do know, too, that when you're within that final year before retirement, you guys not only talk to people about their investments and what to do in terms of income flow, you also talk about things like healthcare. That's a big one for someone who's retiring, especially these days when I know that you typically see a lot of people who are retiring before that Medicare age of 65. This is huge, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's not only something that you need to have in retirement. We can't go through retirement without healthcare, just like we can't get to retirement without healthcare, but it's also a cost that has to be factored into that stress-free retirement. You want to know, what are my coverages? What do I have? What risks are associated with that? And how do we mitigate those risks? Everyone just assumes, well, I'll go on Cobra, right? I can do Cobra. Well, there's a time limit to Cobra. Plus, that may not be the best option available for you. It may be more expensive. It may change the benefits that you have in retirement. There's a lot of different factors in the way the employers can write that plan up, but it is an option. There's also other options out there. There is the marketplace. Maybe you can get the same type of plan, if not better, available on the marketplace to you and your spouse to get you to that Medicare age. But what are the costs? What are the coverages? Those are things we want to look at too and find the thing that best fits into your plan built around what your needs are.
So many times we have people come to us and they say, I'd retire if I didn't have to worry about medical. Mm-hmm. So this is why it's so important to plan for that, because if you're going to retire before age 65 and you have Medicare age, we need that health insurance because their employer's been doing it. Now it's our responsibility. How do you make that maximize to get through to that Medicare age? And we have a plan that will assist you, because there's different things like Gerald was talking about. Is there supplemental insurance out there with Obamacare? So that means that part of your premium payment could be paid by the government. Mm-hmm. And if you can get them to pick up 50, 70, 85% of that premium, and you don't have to worry about that big number, that would be a great opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to go early because I don't have to worry about that extra maybe $1,000 or $1,500 a month in healthcare costs. It's only going to cost me $250 or $300. Mm-hmm. So those are things that we really want to concentrate on with you, because retirement is about the things you do in retirement. And if you're there or want to be there, and it comes a time that you're just wondering, I don't have the answers to this, I'm just not going to do it, maybe there's an answer that's much more palatable to you and your spouse.
That's huge. And then finally, one of the things that you often cover too on that pre-retirement checklist, especially for someone who's within a year or a year and a half of retirement, is not just financially, but thinking about someone's purpose. It is a big shift for a lot of people, going from go, go, go during those working years to all of a sudden, okay, now what? How do you address some of those psychological issues when you're kind of also walking through that financial plan?
Let's face it, when we work for a place or we have a type of job that we've been known to do well, that's our personal identity, at least for 8, maybe 10 hours of the day.
Yeah.
If you're a teacher, a minister, or whatever that is, if you're good at factory worker, whatever that happens to be, that's your identity, and those people have been around you for that amount of time frame. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to change that. So once again, you want to have that purpose, and so there's ways that you can do that.
Absolutely. And I love having these conversations with clients. And, when I first sit down with prospective clients, I'm like, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. You've made it to retirement. I like to say, what's keeping you busy, right? What are you going to do? That usually elicits a lot of emotion. It could go from one end of the spectrum being, I'm not really sure. I just don't want to punch the clock anymore. I want to be able to do what I want to do. To some people have it all planned out. Well, I built this pole barn and I've got all my woodworking materials in there. I just like making stuff and fixing stuff, and we're going to do this. You got to have that conversation. You may not have it all planned out, but that purpose really identifies what that retirement plan looks like. And ideally, you want to do something that really you're passionate about. It could be volunteering at the Humane Society or whatever that looks like, but that works into your plan. We have to look at that and make sure that your dreams, your goals, and your desires continue past retirement, past that life event, all the way through retirement.
It was kind of funny because I went to a car show I have a 1966 Pontiac Le Mans, and it was a large car show in Chicago. And this gentleman came up and recognized my car, and he had one in his youth, and he was talking to me about it. And he says he's 65, he's not retired yet, but he started late in life, and he has a 15-year-old son. And his son was there at the car show with him. And I says, oh, where is he? And he said, well, he's back to the room. He said, Dad, I'm tired of two things. Tired of looking at old cards and old people. Now, here's a guy that, again, started late. He's trying to relate to his son, and he's of the age that, old people and old cards. He doesn't see his dad that way, but he sees everybody around him. And so perception may be greater than truth, but perception is what we deal with.
Right.
So once again, he was looking from a standpoint of, hey, I've got to start doing things and getting him ready for driving and those type of stuff that he's going to be doing. So it's interesting, where we're at in life is where you're at. Now, he may be ready for retirement, even though his son is in his teenage years. That's one of the things we talked about, and we love to talk about, is that you might say, okay, do I have enough money? Well, you might have enough money, but you're not ready to retire yet. So here's what you can do. If you have enough in your account and we just need to grow it, then it's beautiful. You can say, okay, I'm done with this job. I'm going to go do what I love to do, my passion, like Gerald said. And then you can even make that maybe extension of a career or a hobby if you want. There are so many people at that car show doing different things, from detailing cars all the way doing parts and different things of all of that industry. If you're a car lover, that's great. People started racing and different things they did as their second career, setting up races and venues and events. And I was surprised at the amount of money they were making, besides the enthusiasm of enjoying what they're doing.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.